So next one, consumer price index. Consumer price index, CPI. Okay, so it is measuring the inflation from the consumer point of view. Okay, so it shows the impact of inflation on the people. When we discussed about WPI, I've told you it shows the impact of inflation on the economy, but here it measures impact of inflation on the people. So you can just write one line, it shows the impact of inflation on people. It shows the impact of inflation on people. It shows the change in cost of living. It shows the change in cost of living. It shows the change in cost of living. It is used for grant of dearness allowance. It is used for grant of dearness allowance, DA. And I've told you already, since 2014 onwards, this is basically used to form the monetary policy by the RBI. Till 2014 it was WPI. Since 2014, you can write, since 2014 it is being used for monetary policy formulation by RBI. Since 2014 it is being used for monetary policy formulation by RBI. It is based on retail prices of selected goods and services. It is based on retail prices of selected goods and services. It is based on retail prices of selected goods and services. It was estimated in monthly intervals. Same we have discussed in case of WPA also, monthly intervals. It is estimated for the 4 group of consumers. It is estimated for the 4 group of consumers. A, consumer price index for industrial workers. Consumer price index for industrial workers. In bracket you can write the CPI-IW. Consumer price index for industrial workers. Okay. B, consumer price index for urban non-manual employees. So CPI urban non-manual employees. So urban non-manual employees, that you can write in the bracket, CPI UNME. So consumer price index for industrial workers, consumer price index for urban non-manual employee. C, consumer price index for agricultural laborers. So CPI AL, consumer price index for agricultural laborers. D, CPI for rural laborers. So consumer price index for rural laborers. So you can write these 4 in brackets: CPI IW, CPI UNME, CPI agricultural labor, that is AL, CPI RL. Okay, so the base year for CPI is 2001. Base year 2001, and maximum weightage is actually given to food items. So food item is having close to 50%, approximately close to 50%. So if you go for the accurate, it is around 46%. So 46% is the food item. Then other items like clothing, pan, supari, gutka, all these items will come. Rent, all these are included in this. Okay. So why weightage for food is given more, 46%? Because that will have more impact, no? That is having more importance. That will affect the CPI or people more than, pan, supari, gutka, etc. So for example, this food items increase by 10% and gutka price increase by 10%, which affect the people more? Food, right? So that is why food is given more weightage, 46. Base year is 2001. Why? I don't know. Just like that. Base year is 2001. Estimated. Okay, let me check once again. Yeah, base year is 2001. Again, you can see it is again an index number. So how will you write CPI? For example, if I am talking about industrial workers, CPI IW colon 2001 equal to 100. So you always start with the base year and base value. Okay. Now if I am saying the values, let's say 195. So in 2019, the value of CPI is 195. How will you interpret this?
So 95%.
95% inflation is there. Okay. So 95% inflation is there in 2017 or 2019. So the value changed to 195. So 95% inflation is there. So it is based on retail price. Earlier it was based on wholesale price. So it is based on consumer side. Earlier it was based on the wholesale, the economy side. Now who estimate this? It is the Labor Bureau, right? That it is estimated by Labor Bureau under Ministry of Labor and Employment. It is estimated by Labor Bureau under Ministry of Labor and Employment. Okay, now as of now we have talked about CPI and WPI. So you already understood in WPI food items weightage is around 25%. So here CPI food items weightage is around 46%. So food item more weightage is in CPI, right? So that is the reason why CPI, if you see 2012 to 2016 period, CPI was always higher than WPI. Why? Because there was a food inflation. So the CPI was always going higher than WPI because of food inflation, and food contribution is more in WPI. So food inflation is there means it is directly going to affect CPI more than WPI. Okay, so now the food inflation is actually coming down, so CPI is almost close to WPI. Secondly, now WPI is coming down. WPI is coming down because the reason, as you can see here, the contribution of fuel and power is more in WPI. That is not there in CPI. So that is the reason why you can see WPI is coming down. Now these two are almost equal. Okay. Is that clear? This was higher before. So in case if CPI goes higher, the only indication that you can draw from that is actually there is a food inflation, because more weightage is actually given to the food. So next, under this, you can write CPI UNME, CPI UNME 1984-85 base year, 1984-85. This one we have discussed is CPI IW. First one that we have discussed is IW. So please give the heading over there when we discussed about that 46% etc. That is CPI IW. The base year is 2001. Here CPI UNME 1984-85, then CPI AL agriculture labor 86-87, 1986-87, CPI rural labor, that is also 86-87. And which one is used for by the states to revise the minimum wages? These two are actually used by the state government to revise. So this two, agricultural labor and rural labor, is actually used by the state government to revise the minimum wages. Okay. Now in 2014, three more the CPI was introduced. Okay, so one is, you can write there in 2011, not in 2014. 2014 also three more is coming. So in 2011, first you write 2011. So already we discussed about four. That is CPI industrial worker, CPI UNME, CPI AL, CPI RL, okay, rural labor. Now write three more. In 2011, the Central Statistical Office, CSO, introduced three new CPIs. In 2011, the CSO, Central Statistical Office, introduced three new CPIs. One, CPI Urban, CPI Urban. 2. CPI rural. 3. CPI combined. CPI urban, CPI rural, CPI combined. So, and this was actually asked in mains 2012. It was introduced in 2011, so mains 2012, this was actually a question. And the base year of all the three is actually 2012. You can write the base year 2012. So how will you write this? For example, CPI urban. So CPI urban colon the base year 2012 equal to 100. So this is how you'll write. And if I'm saying the value is 170 now, it indicates 70% inflation, like that. Now write one line over there. Selection of items and their weightage. Selection of items and their weightage are fixed on the basis of consumption expenditure data of 68th round of NSSO. 68th round in 2011-12. Okay, so selection of items and their weightage are fixed on the basis of consumption expenditure data of 68th round, that means 2011-12 of NSSO. I've told you already, NSSO conducts survey every year. Every survey is called as rounds. Every 5 years they conduct a major survey. So 68 round means actually 68 surveys have been conducted. So 2011-12 it was the 68th, then 69 in 2012-13, 70 in 2013-14, like that. Every year there will be a survey. Okay. Now in 2014 3 more introduced, so that also you can write there. In 2014 the CSO introduced 3 new retail food inflation indices. 3 new retail food inflation indices. So this is related to specific to food inflation indices. Okay, so from the consumer side, food inflation. So you can write there, so actually consumer food price index, CFPI. Consumer price index, in that you can see food is added. So CFPI, you write there consumer food price index. So here also the first one CFPI, you write completely CFPI urban, CFPI urban, or in bracket you can write, then CFPI rural, CFPI rural, and third one CFPI combined. Okay, so how many CPIs we discussed now so far?
10, sir.
10. So we discussed about CPI. Okay, so we started off with CPI IW, then CPI UNME, then CPI RL, then CPI AL, and then we discussed about CPI urban, CPI rural, and CPI combined, and then these three. Okay, so these three are actually introduced in 2011. These three are actually introduced in 2014. These are related to food, so F is added to this. Here there is no F, here is added F, both by CSO. Now for this also base year is 2012. Base year 2012. So for this also base year 2012. Now here it varies. I have told you this is 2001 and this is before. Okay, so this one was 84, 85, then this one is 86, 87, this also 86, 87. Now next you write service price index. Service price index. So consumer price index is done, 10 index are there, WPI wholesale price index is done. Now related to service. Okay, so write one line. It is constructed for selected services like civil aviation, financial services, etc. civil aviation, banking, okay, like financial services, etc. Not for all the services, selected services. So currently for some sectors only, okay. SPI, in bracket you can write SPI, Service Price Index. Next you write Producers Price Index. Producers Price Index. So here you will get from the perspective of the producer, and WPI you will get it from the wholesaler point of view. CPI you will get it from the retailer point of view, right? So retailer, producer, wholesale. So if you see CPI, we have said that retailer or the people point of view. WPI, that is at the economy level, that means the wholesaler level. Wholesaler, so this is PPI, it is the producer's point of view. Now this is actually again useful for the government, because government can actually understand at which stage the price is increasing, whether is it in the cost of production or at this stage or at this stage. So government can actually understand in which stage the price is increasing and can take the measures accordingly. So we have discussed about 4 different types. So WPI, CPI, SPI, PPI. These 2 are more important. Okay, so you can expect questions from here, and these 2 are not that important, so we don't want to discuss too much about that. Now, there was a question before related to base effect. So you can give a heading, base effect. Any idea what is base effect?
So is it that when the base year is unstable, like relatively higher inflation, or?
Yeah, there was a negative inflation in 2015, etc. The 2015 time there was a negative inflation. Actually, inflation is there, but it was a statistical error. When you are calculating, you get negative inflation, but still inflation is there in the economy. I'll show you with example. So let's talk about the prices of onion, which is more volatile. So I take this example. Okay. So let's say 2000 in 2000. What do you think the price of onion? Let's take it as, let's say 15 rupee. Okay. Let's say 15 rupee. In 2014, it might have increased, and on an average, if you see, it might be around 30 rupee. I'm taking some random values, okay? And 2015, what happened is it skyrocketed, and recently also in 2019, you can say exactly this. Okay, 2019, you can write it went to 100 rupee. Okay, it went to 100 rupee. And 2016, it slightly came down to 90 rupee. Okay, now if you calculate the price change here, if you calculate inflation here, what will happen? 10 to 90, 100 to 90, there is a negative inflation. This is minus 10%, right? If you calculate the percentage change, it is actually negative inflation. But you can see here, 2014 the price is 330, and you can see here how much inflation is there. I've told you how to calculate percentage faster here. Can you tell me what is the factor of multiplication here? 3 to 90.
200%.
3 is the factor of multiplication. 3 minus 1, 2. Add 2 zeros, 200. Actually, from here to here, if you see, 200% increase is there. But why are you getting this 10%? It is because the base value is less. No, the high value, the high base value. Now you are actually comparing with this 100. Actually, you should be comparing it with this. No. So this is actually a statistical error. But as per theory, when you are calculating, your base should be the previous year. So when you are calculating on the basis of point to point method, this year, this month, this value, last year, this time, this value. So you have to calculate like this, and you are getting minus 10. But still inflation is there. You need to compare. You can compare here. It's around 200% high value, but still calculation will tell you this. Okay. So this is what I mean by base effect. So you can write one line over there. It refers to distortion in growth of a variable. It refers to distortion in growth of a variable due to its extreme value due to its extreme value during the corresponding period of previous year.
Or due to?
Due to
which?
Due to its extreme value during the corresponding period of previous year. That means this 100 is the extreme value, no? So corresponding due to its extreme value during the corresponding period of previous year. So if this is July 2020, 90 rupee, last year July it was 100. That is the reason why you are getting this mistake, the statistical error. Actually, if you calculate from here, it is so high. Inflation is there, the price has changed drastically, but still because of the extreme value in that particular month, maybe this price might have came down in next month or the previous month. If you calculate, it might be 40 only. Okay, so it might be 40, or in the next month it may be 50 only. But because of that particular period, that particular year, it was so extreme value. So when you are calculating, you are getting this minus 10. But that doesn't show the actual picture. Okay, one more example I'll give you. Let's suppose the production of wheat. Let's take about the production. It can happen in production also. So when you talk about production of wheat, let's take it in million ton. So let's say in 2000, do you know what is the production of wheat now? Or let's take 80 million ton in 2000. Okay, so it might have increased to, let's say, 95 million ton in 2014. But you know, there was a drought in 2015. So because of that drought, what happened? It came down to 50. And next year it is increased, and it is increased to 60. So what you can see here, if you calculate 50 to 60, what is the increase? 50 into 1.2 is 60. So 1.2 means 0.2 is 20%, right? So you can see 20% increase in production. Now you know one thing, 20% increase in production will never ever come in agriculture. How much we are targeting in agriculture? Increase in production. We are calculating and we are targeting 4% only. So here you can see 20% increase in production. Why this 20% is happening actually? It is because of the extreme low value here. And even then, if you compare it with the previous value 95, still it is low only. There is no increase. But still you are showing 20% itself is very high. You can never get 20% increase in production in agriculture. You got the point?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that is actually happening because of base effect. And this was actually a prelims question before. In 2016, it was a prelims question. So, because this value is normal value, but this value is an extreme value. Because of this only, you are getting, even though actually, if you see, 60 is also very less. 2014, it was 95. And 2016 it is 60, means it is less. But still, this is a statistical error because of the extreme value in the previous year corresponding period. Same period, previous year, it is less. So less. So now you are getting so high value. But this will not reflect the actual picture. That is base effect. Okay, yeah. Next is related terms that we will do tomorrow. Any doubts?
So shall we do this PMI?
Which one?
Purchasing Manager Index or something?
That I don't know about that. I'll check that.
Yes.
Anything else?
And sir, 8 core sectors.
8 core sector?
8 core sector something is there, no?
Regarding?
That index only regarding that. IIP index.
No,
Index of
actually I need to check that. I have to update some current affairs. That we will do towards the end.
Okay, sir.
I'm just considering the static part now. So once we complete the static part, I'll update the current affair. Even I also have to update the current affair.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. WPI to CPI we shift because WPI is showing inflation or the impact of inflation from the economic side, the market side, the wholesaler side. But impact on people is important. So RBI or Urjit Patel actually, that committee explained or suggested that if you're making monetary policy, it should be based on the impact on people. You should consider the the purchasing power of the people and the well-being of the people. So for that matter, you have to consider the CPI based inflation. So that is why CPI based inflation is considered while formulating the monetary policy, because that shows the inflation impact of inflation on the people. Yes, tell me. Global level CPI. So that is also said it is a world practice. It is an international best practice. So we also move towards that. Like what we have discussed in case of GDP at market price. Like that.
Sir, in which year it's
Pardon, I didn't get you. Which year?
Sir, in which year it's
Sorry, I didn't get you. I'm not able to hear.
CPI and WPI, when it started, in which year?
Which index started?
CPI and WPI.
Which year it's... Which year it started, I don't know. I don't know exactly. I will check it and tell you tomorrow. Or you can just Google it. I don't remember exactly which year it started.
Sir, the important point regarding my question is, it came in the mind of rule framers in 2014 that this is concentrated on the CPI, not the WPI.
I'm not able to hear you. Some problem with the internet. My side, I think. Is my voice is clear to all of you?
Yes, sir. Yes, the voice is clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then repeat once again. Please tell me.
Sir, I'm asking that in the year of 2014,
Yes.
in the mind of rule framers, it came point that we should concentrate on the consumer side, not on the wholesale price side.
Yes.
Yeah, the earlier rule framers were not thinking about that.
No. Yeah. Earlier it was like WPI, just like that. It shows impact on overall economy. So we have taken like that. That even when we discussed about GDP also, I've told you GDP at factor cost is what we have taken till 2014, and then it was shifted to GDP at market price because it is an international best practice, etc. Same was the case here also. WPI was taken till 2014, but after it is especially after Urjit Patel the committee, we shifted to CPI because this shows the impact of inflation on the public, and RBI should focus on the policy based on the impact on the public. That is the idea. I don't know which year this even till now nobody asked me about this, so I didn't.
No issues. Actually, I was thinking now.
Yeah.
Earlier, the rule framers was not concentrating on the CPI.
Because overall economy was considered earlier.
Yeah, but till 2014,
Yes.
overall economy was considered.
Yes.
Now, after 2014, the public was get focused.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, can we stop here?
Okay.
Tomorrow we will continue.